This should be a fun one, man. We're gonna make this happen again. All right?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
We had a real good intro.
Yeah, we did. Intro was fire.
It was flowing.
Hopefully we can maybe we can edit that one in.
Yeah,
but this is gonna be a dope one.
Action wife into it.
I hope we didn't record that riff about fucking nuns.
I hope we did.
I want to fuck a nun and a Hasidic Jew.
You can keep that for me.
Right.
You put that shit up. I don't care, man.
Clip that off.
It sounds like a bonus mission on Grand Theft Auto. If you want this church, welcome to my darkest hour. This is gonna be a fun pod. We talk about dark hours with cool people. My name is Leclerc Andre. Joining me as always is my co-host Cab Washington.
Yo, what's up? Philly boy, LA boy, New York boy, all the bulls.
We gonna work on
Cab
that.
Yeah, I know. Let's try it over.
You gotta run it.
But joined by us also is the great, amazing, my boy Derek Drescher, comedian 23-1 at the Stand. You can see him all around the city. Hilarious dude. Love you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, welcome to the pod, man. If you haven't tuned in before, we like to talk about dark stories, oftentimes with funny people. And hopefully they're on the lighter side of things at this point. I would hate to talk to somebody like mid-crisis. Hey, how
I don't know if it's gonna work out, man. I don't know.
They just talk about their yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm gonna live tonight or go to sleep. I'm thinking about ending it all. Well, that's a great episode. Thank you for joining us. Like, God,
You still doing your spot tonight?
Yeah.
You gonna make it?
mid-crisis.
Did you reference DMX there?
No.
It gets dark.
Yeah.
You remember? Yeah. It gets dark.
What album is that? Is that
It's Dark and Hell is Hot.
Oh
Classic.
shit! Dang, throwback.
First time I heard the album, I stole a car and the cassette. The cassette was in the tape player. That's how long ago it was. But I'm still listening to tapes.
That was just the first time. Or that what was it? It was the second time.
The first time I heard the album. It
Oh,
wasn't the first
got
time
it.
I'd stolen a car.
Oh,
But I
okay.
remember I got in the car seat and he said, "Feel the pain, feel the joy
He thought it was God talking to him.
of a man
He's like,
who was never a boy for real." I was like, "Oh shit."
turn the shit up.
He gave the car back and kept the tape. He was like, I'm gonna take this with me, man.
Like, that's my bad, dog. You can have this.
Yeah.
This Camaro will do you better.
DMX is a wild boy. He used to pray at his concerts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You went to one of his concerts?
No, but I listened to the story. Jay-Z has a story about how DMX would open for him on a Hard Knock Life tour.
Oh.
And DMX would have the crowd going crazy. If you listen to his albums, he would always have like a track where he would pray on his album.
And they would talk to God after.
Yeah.
I'm ready to meet him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, DMX was
Yeah.
that dude for real. He was really that dude. And when he performed, he was. Remember when he did? What was that big? That huge.
The Hard Knock Life tour?
No, it was a concert in front of like the entire world. He was wearing like these red
Oh, it was
overalls.
Woodstock.
Yeah, Woodstock.
Oh,
He did
shit.
Woodstock.
Dang.
When I say there was a sea of white folks.
Yeah.
Flesh of my flesh, blood of my
Like,
blood.
party up. Let's get it.
Yeah, man, it was wild. And they were singing every lyric except for one, and it was it was wild. I've never seen a performer like that.
He used to make people cry when he would do his prayer.
Legitimately.
He was something. I just remember watching that they were trying to do an intervention with him. And his son was like, "Dad, are you going to stop doing drugs for your family?" And he was like, "No."
And that was the end of the
I gave you a better life than I had. Absolutely not.
He's like, "Would you do it for Tisha and Lisa?"
3 Kims.
Yeah. Nah, DMX he was the GOAT, man. When he was at his top of his game,
man.
you could not walk by any shop in New York City without hearing his music play.
Yeah. 2  number 1 albums, I believe, in 1 year.
Yeah.
And no one even knew Flesh of My Flesh was coming out.
Yeah, he was untouchable.
Yeah, he was the man.
He was
R.I.P.
Yeah, I could
it's
not
not gonna
relate
be
with
time.
anything he was ever talking about. I remember the most relatable thing about DMX to me was the fact that he had asthma. I was like, yeah, like your boy. We twins, matter of fact. I was like,
You know
yeah.
what's wild?
Out of breath? Crazy.
Me and my boy were on a road trip one day, and we were listening to DMX. I think what song were we listening to? It is done started something. You know that one I'm talking about? And he goes, "Hey man, can we turn this off? It's very intimidating."
Mid listen, he's like, I feel triggered.
I was like, okay, all right.
He sounded like he was in the back seat,
Right.
He just kept leaning further and further back.
like whispering into his head, right? Starting something. It's like,
Yeah.
but yeah, DMX, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
R.I.P.
dude,
D, man.
Yeah.
R.I.P. X, yo. Fucking.
The darkest eye. We should have like a picture of him in the
Yeah,
back.
we should actually.
Yeah.
We gotta add this some decor.
He's the
This
Dark
shit-
Man X,
the
man. We
Dark
should
Man.
definitely salute.
Just with some like green eyes. You know, by the time he died, his eyes were a different color.
Were they really?
They you could tell his face was pretty paled, and then his eyes. I feel like his teeth were just different colors. Yeah.
You know, my
His teeth were
favorite.
definitely like gold.
My favorite DMX like chapter was like, remember when DMX got a little fat?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He had the
DMX
belly.
What year was this?
Yeah, like towards like the last 5 years or so, he was starting to clean up. But when people start getting clean, they start usually eating more.
Right.
I can
right.
attest to that.
Oh yeah.
I can
Remember
attest
those 30 pounds,
bro. Every time I got locked up, like when I was like on a run, while I was using on a run, like you gain like once you get past the sickness, you gain like 30, 40 pounds.
Oh,
quick.
easy.
Yeah, you walking out of there with titties.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But he didn't stop performing.
He's doing really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Like, he's fat, but he's doing really well. He's
It wasn't like his old concerts where he's taking off his shirt and running across the stage.
he didn't party up with a wife beater. Just like
He was
he's
sitting
like, no,
on.
put it back on.
He was sitting on the stool. He was like, he was just growling into the microphone. I'm like, this nigga's tired.
It's wild when you see the older ones perform. I remember I saw Ozzy. I got to see Ozzy Osbourne perform once.
Oh, damn.
But he would do 3 songs and then he would disappear off stage. The guitarist would do a solo and then he'd come back on, do another 2.
Right, he's rested it up and shit.
Yeah.
He was just eating apple pie.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. He looked horrible though.
Right.
Yeah. But I think he ended up cleaning up. But yeah, to see guys like that had that much energy but still out there doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a retirement plan for rappers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I mean, look at Hove. He's tried so many times. He's just like, you know what? Just one more amazing album that everyone.
No, Hove's the exception.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't come back to music because he needs $1.
Oh, you're talking about that relationship.
Yeah,
with
there's
rapping.
no retirement plan for rappers in that. Like, they're usually so indebted to the label that they can't stop performing.
But
Yeah.
was he owe
DMX
money
had
like that?
DMX had 30 kids.
Oh,
yeah. I'm sure that his money was spread out all over the
Yeah,
place.
he was. You heard the women he listed off. He couldn't.
Yeah.
He definitely was paying child
3
support.
Kims, man.
Yeah,
They really needed it.
Latoya and Tina.
Latoya
Yeah.
and Tina. Dang. You think you ever smashed Kim Kardashian? Do you think we was mentioning her and the 3 Kims?
No, she was like 5
Yeah,
when that
she-
song came out. Fuck, Cap.
That's how legends get started. y'all. That's how people really start legends.
That's hilarious.
Imagine if Kim Kardashian's run was that long, bro. Did she fuck JFK? It's like, no, she did not fuck JFK.
She's gonna be
man.
on Breakfast Club
Yo,
interview.
she
in
is
like
a lot like
10
Marilyn
years.
Monroe if you think about it.
Yeah.
That's the person she's most often compared
Compared to? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Thanks for that fact check, Derek. I needed that perspective.
What?
that Kim was out. Kim was too young.
She
for
might not even have
DMX.
been born yet
I think she
when
was
that song came out. How old is
96,
she?
right? About 3.
No,
I remember
she was
the music
definitely
video.
born yet. She was definitely alive.
Yeah,
But
because Kim's like what, like 45 right
I figured
now?
that album came out in 97.
Yeah, like I was like 6.
Actually, it
I
might
was
be
like
96.
kindergarten. I feel like.
DMX, somebody's gonna fact check it.
Right.
We all have the internet. We're just like
Right,
throwing
we
out
all just
numbers.
like-
But yeah, Kim
20
Kardashian.
years minus.
Kim Kardashian did not. I'm sure she did not hook up with DMX.
Yeah, no, I mean, crazier things have happened, you know. So
This is also true.
Nah, DMX on he ain't on that shit.
yeah.
Nah. Yeah.
Derek used to tour with DMX, so
Bro, I would have loved to bid with DMX.
yeah.
Yeah, one of the spots I was in, Black Rob was in.
Oh shit, word.
Yeah, everyone used to go, whoa.
Black
Right,
Rob.
whoa. Yeah.
And he'd be like, shut up.
Yo, honestly, I think that's like the curse of being a musician.
Yeah.
Is that if you're known for one thing, you
Right,
can't
yeah.
escape it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's hilarious, yo.
Can you imagine like
you
being
just
the,
rocking with him? And you just, people just get mad. Whoa, he just not even.
You'd be in the day room
enthusiastic
watching
anymore.
TV and people be like, whoa.
Yeah, if you're a one-hit wonder and people are like, "Hey, there goes Who Let the Dogs Out." It's like,
Yeah,
my name
yeah.
is Jerry. It's like, nah, nigga, you missed the Who Let the Dogs Out. Yeah, forever.
I mean, as far as mainstream goes, he was a one-hit wonder, but as far as the streets go, Black Rob had some shit.
Had some
He had
more,
some serious
some
fire.
more artillery
Yeah,
that niggas miss out
absolutely.
on. Yeah, that's usually how the game goes.
That's the bad boy curse.
Another guy that passed away,
Too young.
Oh, did he pass already?
Yeah, Black Rock passed.
Damn.
Yep.
He died or he got shot? Or?
He died in a hospital.
Okay, sorry, that was a
He
valid
died
question,
or
though.
he got shot.
No, like he just
He died, and then they came in the hospital and shot him outside his
he
body.
died or he got shot. Those are the two ways black people die. Like you can die of, I guess, natural causes, or you got shot. He died or he got
There
shot.
is a bad boy curse. Look at G-Dep, man.
Yeah.
G-Dep.
He
What
was
was
in
the
prison
dude?
for life now.
What was the
His
dude?
life was so bad that he went and turned himself in for a murder that they could not solve.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That's a dark hour. You
Yeah,
just like
that's
I
a
don't really
dark
got
fucking hour.
anything else to do. Like just put me. How old is he? Probably like
He's got to be in his 30s, maybe early 40s.
dang, that's tough. He was in drugs and stuff too.
I don't know what happened after. I mean, I guess it's a possibility. I don't know for sure. But he went, or maybe he just found God. But he
Yeah.
went to the precinct and said, I shot this man at this time on this day, this many years ago.
Yeah.
And, it was unsolved murder. And they were like, what'd you do with the weapon? And he said he threw it in the river. And he pled guilty. Gave him full confession. Now he will not see. Maybe they'll get out. Hopefully he gets out.
Right on parole or just yeah.
Bro, I'm not built like that.
Yeah, no way.
There's some things, you
I
gotta.
still a fucking airhead from the 7-Eleven. I take that shit to my grave. Like,
Well, that's a little different. Ain't no families mourning over that airhead.
yeah, no, that's dang. Did you was that a big thing? Is that a big thing in New York about him being responsible for it prior to that, or he had just?
I mean, I would figure maybe street dudes would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Word,
You know what I mean? Like, but who knows how his life was going,
Yeah.
Shine
Shine
also.
is
Shine too.
legend. He
Legend.
had a lot of respect, from what I understand, while he was
Yeah.
incarcerated because he never gave any information.
Right.
And then Loon also. I mean, Bad Boy
Loon
Rap
got locked
was
up?
tough. Loon went to. I think he like moved to like the Middle East or something like that. He's Muslim now.
Ah,
shit.
Big
beautiful.
beard.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Who's the dude flavoring your? Well, he's in Bad Boy too, right?
Who?
Here comes
Oh, Craig Mack?
Yeah,
he
Craig
passed
Mack.
away also.
Oh, recently, right? Like the
Damn,
past
is
couple-
everybody on the label passed
Nah,
out?
right? Diddy just in there like, well,
Craig Mack wasn't recent, but also when he came out, he was old. Like
Really?
he had a lot of. His face had a lot,
of
miles
years on it.
Yeah.
Very weathered.
Yeah. When he died, people were like, "Not Craig Mack." It's like, nah, yeah,
right?
Craig-
It's like,
not
he's 74.
Yeah. He wasn't like the one that got away. He was like, yeah, Craig Mack. He had a wild life.
yeah.
But you're from New York, right?
I am, yes.
Yeah. So you know about all these these New York based rappers.
Big hip hop head.
Yeah. That's
Big
lit,
hip hop.
bro.
East Coast hip hop till I die, forever and ever. My favorite.
They didn't even play West Coast shit here.
Dude, back
Yo,
in the
they-
day,
I
back in
never
the day,
hear-
when the East Coast West Coast beef was going on, my mother told me one morning when I woke up, she said, "You were talking in your sleep last night." So what did I say? She said, "You said fuck them West Coast motherfuckers."
Oh God, yo,
Yeah. What was
that's
the what was
devotion
it,
right there.
What was it like
my
in Philly
sleep. In
when
Philly?
like the whole East Coast West Coast thing was happening? Because like you guys were just like
Yeah,
there
right.
wasn't even rappers really coming out of Philly at that point.
Yeah, just
Not
Will
real.
Smith.
I mean, yeah, our Messiah,
Who is the hardest
He's the
motherfucker out right now,
yeah.
I believe.
Now he reclaimed the title. That was because he was so weak in the '90s. But I mean, Beams is we had benefited off of the aftermath of that because then the early 2000s we just like took over with State Property, Beanie Siegel,
Yeah.
You
Chris
guys had a
and
moment.
Freeway.
all those guys. I mean, what's it called?
Gotta kill the witnesses because free beard sticking out.
Yeah.
Bar.
But no, I mean, we were more like sick about Pocket and Shot. We were just like, yo,
Over Biggie.
yeah. The Pocket thing was a little bigger, yeah.
Philly was not East Coast.
But
Damn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I hope you're not speaking for the city.
no, I'm not.
Because
The-
somebody gonna send you an email.
Yeah.
I'm from LA. We talked about this
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, I remember when I'll Be Missing You came out. I remember
Yo.
hearing that on the radio and like holding back tears.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
That
so
one and
crazy.
the lesser known street anthem, "We'll Always Love Big Papa"
Oh yeah.
by the Locks. That was before they really popped.
Locks slept on too.
Yeah.
They popped up on the.
They were on that one track on Life After Death. I forget the name of this song. Can I Live? Was it Can I Live? No, it wasn't. It was on Big E's. It was on Life After Death. Then he passed.
okay.
He
Yeah.
passed before the album came
Right,
out.
yeah. He only dropped
So-
like an album and a half before he died. Like right, like I feel like it was only,
I think it would be
two albums.
Well, it was a double album, Life After Death. It was two CD.
Okay, yeah.
20
Because like
tracks.
Juicy, it was like the
Juicy was on the first on Ready to
debut.
Die.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the big one.
because like he didn't even because he was like what 23 when he died. He
20,
didn't even
I think it was 25.
he didn't even drop anything.
Unbelievable was his first
Like Pac had more stuff that dropped.
big mainstream hit. It's unbelievable.
That's what I think. That's what he used to get signed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was moving around.
Unbelievable?
Yeah, he was sending it to DJs, and that's what got the attention, I think, of Diddy. But I think Biggie recorded like one album. Of course, he had a bunch of tracks he already recorded, but then the years after he passed, Diddy was just any track that he was rapping on. Diddy was like, "Yo, take that verse, put it on this song.
Right.
We're gonna have
Double songs with the same verses.
Yeah, we're gonna have 112 sing over it. Mace is gonna write me a verse, and we're gonna release that. It's gonna be another triple album.
We playing Mace's exit route, then he gonna come back into the shit. Like, yeah.
Not gonna lie, that "Are You Still Down" album by Pac after he passed, that shit was oof.
Yeah.
It was. I don't know. I mean, he was already dead, but very cryptic. You know,
Yeah.
"Are You Still Down"?
Yeah,
Raise it up.
Yeah.
And the fact that Biggie's album's called "Life After Death."
Sheesh.
it's crazy the way like these labels will milk the creativity out of these artists once they're gone.
Oh, Pac didn't die until like 2015. I feel like.
I feel like Diddy
the way he did mad more features after that.
Yeah, Diddy
like,
was releasing
and
tracks.
Biggie.
Diddy was releasing tracks featuring Biggie when Biggie was just saying, "Oh," it was like, that was it. That was the only contribution, and just him breathing a little bit. Like, yeah, this one's featuring Biggie. It's like I don't think Biggie.
A video of him just talking. Yeah.
But yeah, Derek is a very funny stand-up comic.
Yeah, Derek's a man,
living in
yo.
New York City.
Big hip hop head too, as we just learned.
Yeah. What else do you get into?
What else do I do?
Yeah.
Outside of comedy, I'm a counselor.
Yeah.
I'm a fitness instructor, a fat one, but
Do as I say.
not as I do. You do them jumping jacks, so I'm over here eating this fucking chopped cheese.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He's like, "You gonna do them with me?" He's like, "Nah, I'm over
I did
here."
my shit yesterday. I'm good.
I mean, I gotta have a lady that does all my demo for me now. So it's just my program. I yell out numbers and exercises. Everybody does it. It's a studio, a fitness studio that only hires formerly incarcerated individuals.
Fire.
We hire everybody except for sex offenders and anybody that's cooperated with the authorities.
Okay.
That's the two rules.
Snitches, man.
They be reading that resume with a fine tooth comb, like, oh, nah, sorry, snitch, bitch ass nigga.
And then I'm also a counselor, a drug counselor.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Dope. And you've had your own experiences.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? Like,
love to hear
it's
those.
hard for me to get a job.
Yeah.
So, like, I figured, I get my certification and drug counseling, and then, a gym that only hires, formerly incarcerated. It's like, all right, these are like my two options, for now. I know times are changing and stuff like that, but, I know what it's like to work out while you're incarcerated, and then I also know what it's like to be on drugs and get off drugs. So, yeah.
Which one happened first? Like, go ahead.
Well, I started getting in trouble a lot way before I started being really bad with drugs. Like, I partied when I was younger, drinking, smoking weed, the party drugs and stuff like that. But I stole my first car, I believe, when I was about 13 years old.
13. My man couldn't even get up on the truck. He just like, yo, help me out, my dude. Hold on.
13 stealing whips in New York.
In New York. And it was wild, too, because I was driving erratically, obviously, because I was 13 years old. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. And I was using my blinkers and shit during the chase. And then when I turned into a dead end, and when the cops like blocked off the...
Oh, during the chase.
Yeah.
So when you stole it, you were pursued.
Yes.
Immediately, or like were you driving for a little bit?
It took a little bit.
Yeah.
It took a little bit. I was driving around and I was hitting shit.
Yeah.
You know,
But you use a signal. As long as you use a signal. it's like-
yeah.
Oh, that's
I was
my
like,
bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
New driver. You put the new driver thing in the dashboard.
Got out of the bodega. You're like, I'm gonna need that.
I remember the cops blocked off the block, and I was like, damn, how am I gonna get out of here? So I just kept like punching it until and then I hit the brakes, and then the motherfucking engine went.
What?
And then they Slim Jim the door open.
What?
Beat the brakes off of me. and then held me there till my mom came, and then she beat the brakes off me.
They tagged her in. They were like, she came off the top rope.
And like everybody I knew was out there too, man. It was, and I remember when I went to court. All right, they held me in the precinct overnight, and they brought me like McDonald's and shit like that. So I was like, oh, this ain't so bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? Hash browns. Fucking, and I'm sitting.
You were young enough to get a Happy Meal, man.
Right?
Yeah,
13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember my father came to court, and I'm like, yo, Pop, you know, if they send me somewhere, you know, can you bring my clothes? And my father was like, son, you ain't gonna need clothes where you're going. Yeah. They're gonna have jumpsuits for you.
Yo.
I was like, oh shit! And then that's when that shit finally hit me. So yeah, spent like 3 years in juvenile detention.
Okay.
When I was young. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it like an impulse thing? Were you just like outside and you just saw
Super impulsive.
Okay.
car was running?
Keys in it.
Keys in it.
Okay. It was someone you didn't know.
No, I knew who they were.
Oh, word. Okay.
Yeah. Thought maybe I'd get some money out of it.
Yeah.
There was no money in it.
Thanks to the engine blew on you, so it was a car that was pretty ran down.
By the time he was done with
Yeah,
it.
by the time I was done, absolutely. I mean, it looked nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, under the hood didn't hold up under the strain of my foot.
I know, like when you're in the like robbery and you're like driving, you're like, man, I just got a car. I know it feels like a flash, but how long do you actually think the chase was?
Yeah.
Like how long were you actually behind the wheel before you got stopped?
I was probably behind the wheel a total maybe a half hour.
Half hour.
Dang.
In my mind, see, I was thinking maybe 5 minutes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes,
max.
get pulled over.
But the
Ran a couple
chase,
lights,
the
like someone's
chase
like,
itself,
what's happening?
Well, the chase itself was short, but me trying to figure a way how to get around the roadblock probably took about 20 minutes.
What?
Yeah, and then the fluid started coming from up underneath the hood, and they Slim Jim the door. I remember when the cop got the door open, I like jumped back and put my foot up, and he got hit.
Oh, yeah,
my bad. Yeah. He got hit, and he was like, he hit me. He fucking hit me, and then they just fucking.
Oh,
yeah, they really fucked me up.
They were like, nah.
They beat the shoes off of me. They beat me out of my sneakers. I used to hear the old timers talk about that, man. I hit a guy out of his shoes. I was like, man, shut up. You never hit nobody out of his shoes. Yeah. They beat me up so bad, my Nike up-tempos unlaced.
Dang.
And flew
he was
off.
fresh when he robbed that shit.
Yeah.
He just
Flew off.
Socks came off.
Had a Miami Hurricane pro player coat on.
Shee.
Yeah, I remember what I was wearing.
Orange or green?
It was white with the orange and green like trim going around it.
Dang.
It was fire.
Did they draw?
They did not draw me.
They could tell you were young, right?
Oh yeah, they knew because they were up. They were trying to get in for a while, and then I'd like at one point like the car like stalled a little bit, and I got it going again, and one was like in front, and he kind of like rolled off the side of the hood.
Yeah,
I did see them put their hands, on at one point. I figured they would have eventually shot me.
Oh word.
Possibly, maybe.
If you got the car going again, if there was somebody like within the path of the vehicle, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank God they didn't, man.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, right?
Is like when you're in juvie, is grand theft like considered light?
I mean, those kids in there. I mean, they a lot of people called like the juvenile detention like gladiator school because them kids are hard.
Yeah,
man. They're tough. I definitely was in for a wake up. Like I thought I was tough. That place made me tougher. Yeah. But like again, it makes you tougher against your will.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? It's rough because you got a bunch of kids that just don't know how to express themselves yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they express themselves through violence or acting out bad behavior. Yeah. So I remember when I got there, the woman who like was there to like receive me. When the cops brought me there was like, she told the cops, she's like, all right, uncuff him. I was looking at her like, oh, she's like a godsend, like an angel or something like that. Right. And then they turned me over to her, and she's walking me down this corridor in like the hallway, and the airlocks are popping, buzzing open doors. And she just looks at me. She goes, you know how to take care of yourself? And I was like, I'm 13. I'm like, I don't know. I don't understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Oh, she's like, you'll find out.
Oh,
soon
shit.
enough. The boys here know how to take care of themselves very well. I remember I went in there, sat down on my bunk, and within like fucking a minute, a dude was like, sneakers, like run them. I was like, fuck. And then luckily somebody I knew from the streets was in there. I was like, nah. And I was like, hey, man, I'm so happy you're here. He's like, I'm here for another 2 weeks, so you better figure shit the fuck out.
Dang.
That was your first offense, right?
That was my first offense. Yeah.
No warnings or nothing.
Yo,
man.
right.
Yeah,
no,
sent him
like,
straight,
no, like introduction courses or anything.
straight to juvie. And that was your, so when you got your first stint in juvie, did you have a situation where like, if you compound offenses while you're in, they'll add more time, or did you just do your only the time that you were issued from the first offense?
Well, they'll do, like, you'll go back to court, or someone will go to court to represent you to see how your behavior's been and all that stuff. And it took about, I think, 11 months for me to get back out. And I was on probation.
Got it.
And then I didn't go to probation, so they sent me back. And that happened again.
How much was the first time?
It was about a year.
Got
About
it.
a year. It was about a year all 3 times. It was about 3 years altogether.
Got
In
it.
juvenile, yeah.
Because I'm thinking, like,
And they would send me to different spots. Sometimes you do good, and they send you like to a non-secure detention,
right.
which is like a fucking like a house. But I would escape.
Yeah.
I would.
I would walk to the front door. Just
yeah. Like at the
Somebody
night.
left the keys in that car again? That's
fucking
my
drive this
birthday.
time.
Yeah, but I got sent all around when I was a
Yeah.
child. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you what, like, when you first went to juvie, what was, because I'm thinking, like, all you did, you're 13, all you did was just like attempted robbery, but like, did they try to get you on counts?
Oh
for,
yeah,
like,
assault a police officer.
Oh,
that
they
was
got you
about
on that too?
freaking 15 charges, man.
Yeah.
Lots of
They
felonies
stack
on there
it.
too. Yeah, and I did actually. I got a YO, youthful offender status, which would be like, you know, a conviction as a child.
Yeah.
For that, yeah.
Oh, dang. Okay. And then, okay.
So I mean, nobody can really see that. I believe only law enforcement and courts can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember because this is probably what, back in the 90s, right? So when I was my aunt used to have a house. She still lives there actually on Flatbush and Ocean Avenue, and my mom pulled up. You know, in New York, you double park everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So my mom double parked. She's like, I'm gonna just run up, grab a bag of rice. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
She goes upstairs, looks out the window, sees her car get stolen, and like right up the street. I'm like, that's how Brooklyn used to be.
Yeah. Straight like that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like that. Like if you everybody's looking at cars because people just double parking, talking out the window. So people just outside waiting.
Back in the day, I mean, you get a decent car, you could bring it to a chop shop and walk out with, like, you know, possibly a couple grand.
so they wouldn't
So
even
easy.
Flip it to like, oh, this is my new car now.
Yeah.
They're like, no.
Just
I'm about to
get rid of that shit.
Yeah.
Right.
It's quick money, man.
Yep.
Dang.
And this is when people were putting, like, you know, the low jacks on the
Right, that
on
was the
car.
start of it,
Yeah,
yeah.
they were doing everything they could to like not get their car stolen. I'm like, nigga.
Yeah.
You're right.
The club? Was it
Yeah,
the club?
Yeah,
Is that
the
what it was?
club. Yeah, my mom used
club.
to, after she got her car stolen,
Yeah.
she had the club. She had 2 clubs. She was like,
One
double.
crisscross them.
She had a whole X on her, John. Like, mom, I don't know if
2
that
hours to get out
helps.
the car.
In the club, you could hit somebody with
Put
the
a
club too.
padlock.
For sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
heavy as fuck.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's hilarious. Yeah. I was in Milwaukee a couple months ago, and they had a whole, like, you can apparently like start a car and unlock a club with a Kia and a Hyundai with an iPhone charger, like the thing that you stick into the jack. Like,
Really?
they were just pulling out the, like, you know, where the ignition goes, like off the lock part that you put the key in, and you just could turn it and it could start. It's
Yeah.
like crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Hot wiring.
yeah. But like just with an iPhone charger.
In Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Shout out,
There's a group
Cool-
called the Kia Boys.
Cuckoo Cow.
Yeah, those your peoples?
You never heard Cuckoo Cow?
Nah.
Come on.
Is that-
In my projects. You guys know that song.
Yeah, I know the
Oh,
song.
okay.
Yeah.
The Milwaukee guys. In my project. Oh yeah.
You remember?
Yeah. I had to go back.
That was a jam.
I was a big 90s hip hop guy. Yo. My cousin, he went to music school, so he put me on to like Biggie early. Before that, I was just playing Legos. I was a nerd, yo.
You still playing with Legos now?
I mean,
Yo.
look, sometimes it goes down on a Saturday night. You know, you gotta just create your dream home. You know?
I am mad at that. I feel like that's good for your brain.
Right? See,
Yeah.
dog.
We're not gonna say it goes down, referring to Lego. What you doing tonight? You know it's going down, right?
It's going
I got
down.
the Star Wars
Yeah.
Lego kit, my nigga.
Yo,
Got the Death Star
Saturdays.
popping.
Yo, y'all trying to come over? Y'all
Yeah.
trying some chocolate milk? So,
my Saturday is blocked out, man.
right? Yo,
I got the Millennium Falcon.
Nigga, Caps in
literally
Indian-
blocked
Big
up.
one. Yeah.
Caps in Indian
All the
style.
block.
on the carpet.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I wish I was able to do Lego stuff when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I had to be an idiot.
Yeah.
I remember my father was talking to me one time. Actually, the first time he came to visit me, I started to cry when I saw him. I started to tear up, and he was like, "Son, cut that shit out."
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Don't ever cry in here in front of any of these people.
Yeah.
You know, don't do it." And I was talking to him. I'm like, I don't know why I did what I did and this and that. And he's like, "You're just bad." He's like, "Ain't nothing wrong with you. You're bad."
You're just
Yo,
so bad.
Yeah.
He didn't even have like a roadmap to how you got here.
He said
or a
you're
way to
just
soothe
bad.
the
Just
situation. Yo,
That's so funny.
I
that's
was like,
unreal.
"Grandma died." He's like, "Don't put this on your grandmother dime. You're bad."
Dang. Your dad was a real one. Man.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yep.
and both of your parents your parents are married, or they were
Yeah, my
both in
parents
the-
are married.
Okay.
They're still together.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah,
wild.
both
That's
retired
fire.
bus drivers. They live in South Carolina now.
Oh, word. Okay. And then, so did you get caught up in the streets at an early age? Like all your friends were doing it, or was
Yeah,
one of
a
those,
lot,
like-
a lot of friends selling drugs, stealing shit, robbing shit. Yeah, we all found each other. So
Yeah.
you find your people.
Right.
After the first
Find it.
3-year stint, when you're out, right?
Yeah.
You felt like you were received differently in your old neighborhood.
Yes.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
badge of honor.
Oh, word.
What a horrible way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so bad. So bad. Like it's like you did a tour, like
Oh, well, like a military person.
a
Yeah.
military person. Yeah.
He's
Got
like,
stripes.
"Welcome home, D."
Yeah.
Oh, yo.
I
remember
was
that
it?
you
He was
were
like,
like
"It was
older."
terrible.
We bought a car in your name, dog.
Yeah.
We took the wheels off of it, just how you remember it.
It was a Lego car.
I mean, even getting older and getting out, your boys take you to the strip club when you get out, and they tell the girls like, "Oh, you just got out of jail or whatever," and they give you a little extra attention.
Oh, for real?
So you were 13 when you went in, 16 when you got out.
Well, yeah, by the time I was 18, I did about 3 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
In juvie. Yeah.
And at that point, you could legally drive.
Right.
At that point, I could legally drive.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I got in trouble as an 18-year-old, and we're going back like to 99, right?
Yeah.
So I already have all this
That's crazy. It's
juvenile
all
shit.
before. Yeah. It's Bill Clinton shit. So you could. Sorry.
So I'm in court, and I'm like, "Your Honor, I'll go into the Army." And he was like, "You're gonna go into the Army?" He goes, "All right." He goes, "Your next court date is this day. Show me proof that you're going into the Army." So I go to the recruiter, right, and they'll take me. Like nowadays, it's different. If
Right.
you have a couple like high speeding tickets, they don't. If you got bad credit, they might not let you in.
Dang.
Back then, they would still take you.
Yeah.
Right. So I get into the Army. I was in the Army for about 11 months.
Okay.
Before I was chaptered out. I actually went to jail in the Army too.
Okay.
Yeah, I got involved in I was like stealing metal off of military property, selling it.
Yeah, you're just a young entrepreneur,
Yeah,
right? Like, so nobody's gonna take this
So
medal.
y'all don't see that shit?
Well, they were doing it already, and I was like, "What are you boys up to?" And they were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is what we're doing." I'm like, "I feel like we can make more money." And they're like, I was
It's
like,
always when you scale up.
Right.
Yeah.
so yeah,
Trying to
one of the
become
guys told on me.
Oh, they snitched? Dang.
But they ended up not getting me for that. Like I never
Yeah.
like once I got in trouble, I was like, all right, because the military is an institution also.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, 100.
Like
bro.
so, yeah. Barracks is like being locked up. It's you and a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was hard for me because it's like there's also authority.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like
right.
the COs don't sleep next to you while you're locked up. You know what I mean?
Unless you want them to.
Yeah. But the sergeants do,
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the military. So I'm like, "Oh, he's sergeant?" I'm like, "Oh, all right." So if I beat him up, then I'm the sergeant. Like that's
that's yeah.
I mean, that's not what I was thinking
Right,
for
right,
real,
right,
but
right.
that's like what
That's like street
but
mentality.
to
Yeah,
keep it
straight
contextual, like
street
you're also
mentality.
18. Like
I was a child and I didn't make it long. So that ended quickly.
Yeah.
There were some people who were upset at me when I got out. Because by the time I was in, 9/11 happened.
Oh, word.
That's why they let them in.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, they would let anybody in.
Right,
When
right.
9/11 happened.
It's like we need more people.
I never made it. They spent all that money on training me, and they were like, "Lock this motherfucker up." And then when I came out, you know, I was just in and out.
So when you came out the military, that's how backwards the streets are. Like you get out of jail, niggas like, yo, welcome back.
Right.
You got the military, like this nigga sold.
This nigga, dog, for real.
Yeah. But I'm sure it was like a completely different reception, like coming out of jail and also versus coming out of the military.
I mean, I was trying to keep it a secret that I had gotten removed. Yeah, I was politely asked to leave.
Was it dishonorable discharge?
I did have a dishonorable. Yeah. I now they've upgraded it to discharge under honorable conditions.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lit.
I was attacked by a bunch of college students.
Okay.
I like
defending yourself.
No, they beat the shit out of me. There was no defending. I didn't defend anything that day. I was getting my ass whipped.
That was a one-sided loss.
Yeah,
it was
straight up.
It was
straight up. Yeah. So I mean, I guess that might have spurred how did something to how I started to act. Possibly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Catching a beat down like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I got out, I was lying to a lot of people, like, oh, because some people were very proud of me.
Yeah.
Like, you turned your life around. I got the pictures of me in the uniform and all that shit. And I know that I'm done.
Yeah.
Right.
People are like, oh, so when you go back? It's like 3-4 months.
Yeah. Right.
You're still on leave?
Yeah.
Still on leave? Yeah.
You got me on standby right now.
Right.
Because I did that because I figured it's like I had like relatives that were in.
Yeah.
And it was like a proud point for some of the folks in my family. So me getting in all the trouble I did and then doing that, they were like, oh, Derek figured it out. I didn't figure out shit.
Yeah, the military option is very different for people who like come from nothing versus people who like have family in the military. So like people who have, like the McCains, like the politicians who have like a track record of like having family who serve in the military is very different than like a kid graduating high school who doesn't want to go to college.
Right.
Because those recruiters like, yo, you ain't doing shit. What you doing? Can you do some push-ups? If you can do push-ups, you could join the military.
Right.
And in your family, they hear you're going to join the military, and it's like this respect, this honor that you bring to the family.
Yeah.
But what they don't realize is that like the military is different for
lower enlisted.
Like if you're a poor kid coming out of Brooklyn and just enlisting into the military without having an understanding of how the military works, it's very different than having an uncle who's a colonel.
An officer.
Right, who knows how to like navigate the system and give you a recommendation and put you into contact with the right people. That's a completely different experience.
So wild too, because my grandfather, right, he was at Normandy. He got shot, had to learn how to walk all over again. You know what I mean? And then my uncle was in Nam, right, and he got like they got attacked in the evening and shrapnel hit his legs. He had to learn how to fucking walk all over again.
Dang.
So I went, and then 9/11 happened. I was like, maybe I'll get to learn how to walk all over again. But I never made it that far. Yeah. You're right. Like the McCains, it's a different kind of lineage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all college educated. They're going in as officers. It's a different, it's different.
They do it the right way.
Yeah, it's more prestigious.
Dang. There's not enough like visibility on that. It's always
it's the transparency of the process.
Right,
so like don't get me wrong, there's a lot of kids who just grow up idolizing like being in the Marines. I want to be a Marine guy, right? In high school, they're 16 years old running miles and doing push-ups and pull-ups. It's like, why are you doing all this?
Were you going to college? Like, no, I'm going to the Marines.
Yeah, I want to be a Marine. So like that's different. But then you have kids who are graduating, they don't have like a direction necessarily. They don't know what they want to do, and they see the military as a way of like not only giving them direction and purpose, but also bringing like doing something that people will be proud of.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's like a much different experience because once you get in, you start learning what the military is after the fact.
Right.
You're signing a contract with the government.
Yeah.
It's like getting married.
Yeah.
Right? And then when they're done with you, they're like, hey, we thought it was going to be different. Right. I know you don't got legs anymore, but thank you for your service.
But like that was dope. Like we'll do our best to keep your credit score in line, but probably not. We'll see you in New York on a
That's how they did
on
my
a train
uncle.
someday.
My uncle wanted to stay in, and they were like, nah, you good, buddy.
Yeah.
Dang. How much time did he serve?
I think he was only in for about 4 or 5 years.
Sheesh.
Yeah, they were like, nah, you're the war had ended, and they were like, we don't need infantry guys anymore.
Yeah. So where you live, where you remember? Yeah, just go back there.
Yep.
Yeah.
He had full disability from that shit too.
Yeah.
He was so upset that he sent the checks back.
Yeah.
My Uncle George.
Stop.
Yeah, I was like, yo, you are.
He said, thanks, but no thanks.
You're a wild boy, Uncle George.
Yo,
Yeah,
he's hit the
You should be
return
like,
letter.
Uncle, let me send these for you. No, I'm gonna take them right to George Washington right now.
Yo, talk about being proud. To
Yo,
a fault, shit.
That's next level, dog.
I'm gonna wrap it in the flag. Give me the checks. I'll take it for you.
The physical stuff was the easiest for me.
Yeah.
Basic training, people
Right.
yelling,
Yeah,
working out.
Yeah. Let's get it.
That's jail.
that's
Right.
light.
That's
Yeah. That's light. I've done this before.
Right. This
Yeah,
is familiar. This
no
is
thing. No,
this is sweet.
Yeah, it was so easy, so easy. So I mean, that was my military career. Short, sweet.
Did you almost get? Because the reason why, or you got away from having to do time for because you went into the military, right? Did they look for you after that to be like to make sure that you were enrolled?
No, but they were pressing me because it was taking a little while.
Yeah.
So the first time I went to MEPS, which is in Brooklyn, they bring you there. And they're like, they ask you what you want to do in the military, and my ASVAB score wasn't great, so they're like, you want to blow stuff up? And I was like, yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So depending on how high you score,
Yeah.
you could get a good job, and they started asking you. So now my recruiter told me, like, he knew all about all my stuff, and I was just like, yo, I got to get out of here. He's like, when they ask you some questions to say you got in a little bit of trouble, nothing big. He's like, they're not going to look into it. That's longer down the line. Just hold tight while you're in there. And when the guy started asking me questions, I was like, yo, can I leave? Because I felt like I was being interrogated, right? And I walked out, and my recruiter was like, I told you what to do.
Yeah.
Right.
And I had to go back again and do that. But I did have the court date in between. He's like, yo, you're supposed to be ready to leave. The judge was telling me. I was like, I'm going.
Yeah,
So they were pressing me. And I wasn't even going to go for that long. It wasn't even anything crazy. But I was like, fuck it, let me do this. What do I got going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so at one point during basic training, it was me and a couple other guys, our security clearances came back fucked up.
Yeah.
So meaning that
Fucked up in what way?
everything that we had
Because they had a history.
everything that we had written down was not true.
God.
And-
they really like scanned it.
It's the military.
Yeah.
You never know.
And I
dog.
remember the drill sergeants being like,
They screened
listen,
it.
if they ask for more references, he goes, if you write down the name and the number and the person doesn't exist, they got nobody to talk to.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we go through all that again, and I had to go see the lieutenant colonel. I walk in, you got to do the whole Private Drescher reporting is ordered, sir, all that shit. And
Right.
he just looks up at me. He's like, you ready to be a soldier? And I was like, yes, sir. And he just, get him out of here.
His
Wow.
references of Ronald McDonald.
Yeah, but now, from what I understand, it's a lot tougher to get in. But I mean, I guess I'm thankful for the time I got. Damn, man, is this so bad getting booted like that? For
Yeah.
the shit I was
I
doing.
mean, life is a journey, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all got some regrettable
Yeah,
shit.
we got some dark hours, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're here now doing the thing, and that's what it's all about, in the end.
As a counselor, like I know
Yeah.
you deal with people who come in and they're addicted to substances already.
Yes, so so this is my my clientele, my clients will consist of folks who've been who are displaced, no home, incarcerated for over 20 years. I work with a lot of mostly men that have done that long, and people who have suffered from substance abuse and alcohol abuse, So, but I've been through all those things myself.
Right.
So,
How long have you been sober?
8 years.
8 years.
August
clean.
28th was.
And were you using? Did you start using as early as when you
I got
first
addicted to heroin when I was 30 years old.
Oh dang!
Yeah, about 29, 30.
Yeah,
30
yeah.
years old is when you were addicted, or is when you started?
I started to use heroin then. I mean, I was addicted, literally, like that.
Okay.
I heard it's like that.
Yeah, that's what I hear too.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna just rock out.
I was messing with those
Just a
pills at first, those
Yeah.
Roxasets, the blue ones. Before that was the Vicodins. Everybody was, and then the 10 milligram Percocets and the Roxasets came out, and Oxycontin,
Yeah.
all that shit, the green 80s. And I caught a habit off of that stuff. And then, and I didn't really know what the fuck was going on. Like, I didn't do it one day. All of a sudden, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then I couldn't get any more pills. And then somebody was like, yo, I don't want to see you like this. I have something that can make it go away.
Dang.
And I was like, and I said joking around, would you use it fucking heroin? They were like, yeah.
It's like ding, 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 ding.
So then I
Survey said.
Oh, how did you know? Did you already? Yeah.
and it was somebody who you know, like
That's a close friend of yours.
someone I love very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like they were also had their own issues too. And I don't know if when you become sick, when you become dope sick, call her sick from opiate withdrawal, it's a horrible, horrible feeling.
Have you seen it firsthand?
The first hand?
Have you seen like, because when I was
firsthand.
Firsthand,
Oh,
yeah.
no. Not drug. I used to work in juvenile justice, but I've never, and incarceration, but I never worked directly with people who had bad drug
Yeah,
problems.
I used to work when I was living in Baltimore. I used to work with a dude in our kitchen, and he was on the monster, man.
Yeah.
They call it the monster, like in Baltimore.
Right.
So he would come into work. He would come into work like after a fix, and you would just see him going through it. He would like be washing the dishes one moment, and he just checks out.
Oh,
Right.
shit, yeah.
And like you just see him slumping, and then he would like check back in, like, oh, I'm back. And
That
he's
mean
just
nod.
like,
Yeah.
he would have the hair.
Yo.
And it's something that like especially if you're sheltered or you haven't been exposed to it, you're like, what the fuck is
Right.
going
Lot to see.
on? Yeah.
Lots.
But then you start seeing like once you're aware of it, you can't unsee it.
Right,
So
right.
all the signs of like drug abuse, once you're aware of them, you can't unsee it. Like you'll see the swollen feet.
Yeah.
You'll see like
Ooh, yeah.
the one arm is like it's fucked up compared to the other arm. It's like it's only a matter of
Scratching.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, people's faces really fucked up. You see that on the train a lot. And
Yes.
someone would be eating the sandwich and just
Yeah.
asleep. And
Well,
then
most
pick
people are
back up
ju-
and eat right to the
Yeah,
sandwich
most people
again.
are like, oh, they're on drugs, but they think that all like, oh, maybe he's smoking weed. It's like, nah,
No,
these are like
no.
very
None.
specific drugs that have very specific effects on people.
That man is on heroin.
He's
Right.
on heroin.
the heron.
That heroin.
Within 2 weeks, I started sniffing it first. Within 2 weeks, I was shooting it
Yeah.
Every day.
every day.
Dang.
I had at one point, I had like a 4-bundle-a-day habit. That's 40 bags of heroin,
Where were you getting money from for this?
wherever I could.
Yeah.
Wherever, however.
Leave that car running.
Yeah. I would drive into Jersey. And, you know, these you got a lot of nice houses in Bergen County where these people are just grotesquely rich, and they would have like a couple $100,000 worth of ornamental metal on their houses.
Oh, you were strip metal.
I would rip copper right off of. I'd put up a ladder and go right up on your roof and rip copper off your roof.
Yo. Wow.
Broad daylight.
Yo.
I pull up in the truck, knock on the door.
Yeah.
Nobody answered. Pop the ladder off. Get right to work.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang, you had all infrastructure like involved.
Yeah, I would just
Ladder,
be like,
yeah.
you know, I'm here to fix this or that. They'd be like,
Right,
oh, and
right.
I'd be like, oh, sorry, wrong address.
Right.
Yeah. I remember one time I was on a new construction spot.
You was working a construction job, or
Yeah. No, they were
wasn't
they
working
were.
yet.
I
no,
wasn't
I'm thinking
working.
he like applied for the job, then got it, and it's like,
No,
oh,
no,
let's see,
no.
everyone's
It
metal.
was a new construction
Okay.
house, right? They were building it. And
Yeah.
they had this big ass chimney king, which is like just a copper top on the chimney.
Yeah.
These things would weigh a couple 100 pounds sometimes. You got a couple 100 pounds of copper, not bare bright, but still good money.
Yeah.
And you know, it doesn't matter what shape it's in when you bring it to the shop. You know, and I would just throw them off the roof, and they would just fold up on themselves, make it easy to carry. But I'm up there on the roof, and fucking, I see these motherfuckers pull up. It's like other contractors. I'm like, God damn! And I'm on one side of the house, they're on the other side, and I'm like, they're going around like this. I run off. I push the chimney king off. It falls. I run, throw it in the truck, pull the ladder down. But I was pulling out by the time they were coming around the other side of the house. Yeah, I was out like a light. But they probably thought I was just there working, doing something. You know?
Right.
You also have like a good union voice.
Right.
I mean, like, it's the wrong one.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but I did all kinds of shit to get money to shoot heroin, man. It was rough. It was rough.
Yeah.
I never sucked no dick though. I just want to make that clear. We have a saying where I come from: you either suck dick or you go to jail.
Right.
I went to jail. All right.
Proudly went to jail.
I got close a couple times, but I never tried.
Listen, I got nothing against you if you did shit like that. I remember,
That's the title of this episode, by the way.
Right.
I never sucked no dick though. You gotta put the dough at the
So I remember one time you have your few friends that you do get high with, that if you can help out, you'll help out, right?
Yeah.
One of my guys called me one day. He's like, yo, I got a problem, man. I need you to come over here. So it's like, I'm like, all right, he probably needs something. I get there, and he had this like oozing rash on his face.
Oh shit.
So I'm like, yo, don't fucking
touch me.
Don't touch anything. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know, man. And I'm like, yo, did you do something?
Yo.
I was like, 'cause you didn't just suck that dick. You rubbed it all over your face.
Yo.
And I remember we
Yeah.
we're in like, we go to the ER, they get him a bed or whatever. And
Yeah.
this Indian doctor comes in and he's looking at him and he's got the rubber gloves on. He's going, oh, no. And he's like, you have herpes all over your face. And I was just like, holy shit.
Yo.
That's a grotesque story, man.
Yeah, that's unreal. I didn't know it could go like that. I didn't know it could get on your face like that.
Yo, you can have outbreak on your face, absolutely.
But I thought you could it's just like I've only just seen like
Oh, you get that shit.
yeah, dang.
Maybe I don't know. That's what he said. He said,
But it's probably someone who is really untreated, had a severe case of
Leclerc,
herpes.
do you know about herpes?
I don't know why y'all talking about it. Like we're all doctors. Like, no, I think it starts with the lip. I think what's crazy is that like he called you of
Right.
all people.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a trauma bond.
Right.
It's like a
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
he's like, I've been through everything with this nigga, man. Let me call him.
Right.
I'm
But
sure
he was someone who did
I was like, yo, don't even look at me.
right.
You made him sit in the
wanna
back
get
seat of
that
the car when
shit.
you
I
jumped
don't
to the.
He was the one listening to DMX. Like, I hate this song.
It was wild though. Like, I needed to be beaten down, like fully before I like saw any glimmer. I was pretty.
Really?
I was pretty sure that I was like, I was just like, some people have good lives, some people don't. Some people die with a needle in their arm. That's where I fall in life.
Oh, okay.
And like I OD'd bad a couple times. My brother also used heroin. He saved me one time. I saved him one time. Like I remember we lived above this restaurant in the same building. He lived on the second floor. I lived on the third floor. And we did a lot of ripping and running together. So, we get high together. And then, like, my brother was not one of those dudes who would nod out. Like, he would get energy.
Oh.
I would nod hard.
Right.
My brother would cook dinner. And he would, like, wake me up.
Oh.
And be like, all right, let's eat. You know what I mean? So I remember we get high. And I nod out. And then, like, when I come to, I, like, look. And the time that it was, I was like, oh, he should have.
Where's my food?
Yeah, where's the food at?
Yeah.
And I go downstairs and I see his doors open a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And I open the door and he's like face down in the bed, but I just thought he was sleeping. And I remember like you got a little brother, I grab him in a way that a big brother would grab his little brother, like to fuck with him, and he didn't move at all.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit. And I turned him over and he was blue.
Oh.
He was a big boy too.
Right.
So I grab him, I pick him up. And then I dropped him. He hit his head on the floor like really hard. I was like, shit. And I like pick him up. And I got him like leaned up against the bed. And he just got all this like fluid pouring out of his mouth. But he's not breathing. So I start like blowing in his nose like you would if a baby had stopped breathing.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I grabbed some, he had some ice water in the fridge. And I started pouring on him. And then he just took a deep breath. Right, but he still wasn't like there, and I'm just in sweatpants. I run downstairs into the restaurant, and I'm like, my brother's ODing, he's dying, and there just happened to be a couple paramedics in there.
What?
Yeah, bro, they went up there, like they got somebody out there quick.
Shit.
They're doing that, and now the cops are there too. This is like some time's passing, like he's coming to, and then he's dying. His like heart is stopping again. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I remember there was this cop out there, and fucking, I just remember him going, is this dude even alive? And I was like, this is something, it's so cold to hear.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But they get him in the back of the ambulance, and I guess they had the Narcan with them in the ambulance, and the ambulance started to shake. So I was like, oh, he's alive.
Okay. Yeah.
He's alive. And then I had OD'd. And I OD'd inside of a shooting gallery, which is a bunch of people doing dope. Right?
Okay.
And my brother was there when I went out, and he was like dragging me out to take me like to the hospital, or he tried to call an ambulance. They took his phone. Like, oh, don't bring the cops here.
Right.
This and that. So he had to drag me out. And I guess while he was dragging me, my shoes came off. Anyway, like he gets me in the car. He's like, I heard you take your last breath in the car. He's like, and then I smelt shit, because when you die,
you shit
yourself.
Yeah, all your things
all
release.
your bodily fluids come out.
Right.
I remember, all I remember was them bringing me back to life in the hospital. And I hear my brother in the back. He's like, please save my brother. Please save my brother. And once I could talk, I was like, brother, I'm here. He's like, you want me to call mom? I was like, no, I don't want anybody to see me like this. And yeah, I just came up, took a deep breath, fucking they turned me to my side. I started throwing up. I knew I had shit myself also, and urinated on myself. And I was just like, I'm cold. And they brought me a warm blanket. Like the blankets for the newborn babies, they got them in that little like warmer. And then
how long were you out?
A while. So the lady came. The fact that as long as I was out, I think people can have brain damage from that.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard it only takes a couple minutes for you to possibly not ever be the same again.
Right.
That's what
oxygen to your brain and all that flux. Yeah.
But once they got me stable, the nurse came to me and she was like, you were dead when your brother dragged you in here. She goes, your brother dragged you in here. And all the knuckles on my toes were scraped to the bone.
Wait.
That's from him pulling me on the pavement.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And she's like, you were dead when your brother in here. And just so you know, you're the only person we've saved this week. So we're going back about 9 years. There's a fentanyl epidemic, I guess. Is that what you would call it? At that time, too. It was like one of the first times it came around. Yeah. That's what had happened to me. And I knew that night, I was like, I never used the same. It wasn't the same. I didn't use as ferociously and viciously as I did.
Right.
Like, it had knocked the wind out of me. And I was like, I'm either going to change my life. Yeah. It's still one or two, or I'm going to die out here. Yeah. But I just didn't have the same ferocity in me anymore. And that was around Christmas. And then by June, July, I was really trying to get clean of the next year. Yeah. And I was like in some halfway houses and shit like that. But I kept relapsing, and I was going to this outpatient place, which was also a Suboxone and methadone clinic, and they put me on the Suboxone.
Tell people what Suboxone is.
Suboxone is basically it's a harm reduction drug. I believe that's how I would call it. Suboxone, methadone, both used to get you off of heroin. Some people stay on it forever. Yeah. Some people will wean themselves off of it. You know? And at that time, you're handing a drug addict 60 Suboxone for a month. Yeah. So I'm gonna, I didn't really have any recovery yet. I would take a Suboxone like the day before I had to piss. So it was in my system. And then, I would trade it to still use dope and shit like that. And I remember the woman who was there, my counselor, I remember I came out of the bathroom one day. I shot up in the bathroom. I had like a little dot of blood on my shirt. It was soaking through my long sleeve. She was like, you're going to die. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, I know a place where you can, like, it'll give you a fighting chance. It's a good program. Yeah. And I was like, all right, fuck it. Yeah. And they had a cab take me there the next morning. And I get there, and these people, man, at this recovery facility are just different. All of them, most of them are also in recovery. They were so fucking real, man. Like, so I'm supposed to be going there with my Suboxone. Their goal is to wean me off Suboxone, get me clean, right? And I show up there, they piss test me. And they're like, all right.
No more Suboxone.
They're like, number one, you don't have any Suboxone in your system. Number two, you got cocaine, morphine. Like, where's your Suboxone? I go, I sold it. And they just started laughing. Like, I'm like, I'm supposed to be honest, right? And they're like, yeah, we can't take you like this. We're sending you to detox. So I'm in Queens. They send this crazy Dominican motherfucker to pick me up to send me to detox at a place called St. John's Behavioral in Yonkers. Right?
Yeah. Dang, that's deep.
How we circle back to DMX, right?
Yeah.
Yo, this motherfucker almost killed us like 5 times on the way there. He was driving like a fucking maniac. You know what I mean? He pulled up in the van, like no side view mirrors and shit like that. I get to St. John's. I get there, right? And they're like, we got no beds for you. So now I'm in Yonkers. I'm like, yo, what the fuck do I do? And they're like, oh, go to the sharing community, which is like a shelter. They're like, they'll put you up for the night and then come back tomorrow. And we'll have a bed for you. Yeah. So you got to realize, like, as a heroin addict, when I like me getting in a cab and going to this place, I'm like, I did everything I was supposed to do, man. This is what the world wants from me. I'm supposed to go get high now. You know what I mean? For some reason, I didn't do that. Like, I got on the bus.
They gave you 1 million outs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is a sign, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I'm not supposed to be clean.
I'm not supposed to get clean. And you got to also remember, at this time, too, I've been in a relationship with a woman for about 8 years.
Wow.
This poor thing.
Yeah.
Who's, like, working in Valhalla as a nurse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, fucking with her heroin addict boyfriend, jailbird boyfriend has, like, managed to go to school, get her nursing, degree and all that shit, and get a good, Valhalla is the place to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? They pay fucking good money. Right? So I'm in Yonkers. First I call her. I'm like, yo, let me come chill in the car.
Yeah.
And she's like, absolutely not.
Right.
She's like, if you come anywhere near here, I will call the police on you.
Dang.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, if she would have let me get in that car, chances are I was going to steal that car.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Shit.
So I get on the bus. I go to this place, a sharing community, right? I tell the guy at the desk, like, what the deal is. Like, I need just one night. I got to get into a detox tomorrow. And he's like, well, we got no beds here, but I'm going to give you this ticket. It was a Staples ticket, and I had it for years, and I lost it. But he goes, go over to Chicken Island, and when you see the red van come, this is the legend of Chicken Island.
Yeah, this is the legend
of Chicken Island right here. Take this red ticket, go over to Chicken Island. When you see the red van come, give him this ticket, right? So I'm like, what the fuck is Chicken Island? And he's like, you'll see a bunch of people will be leaving here shortly. Go with them. Go with the migration, right? So
follow the flock.
Yeah, follow the flock, right?
Yeah.
So they give us like some noodles and some meat to eat. I can't really eat because I'm kicking, you know what I mean? I'm like trying. My body is starting to twitch on its own. I'm tearing up because that's what would happen to me when I was getting sick. And I follow this migration to an old chicken spot that is shut down called Chicken Island. It was so funny too because it was like a chicken on an island. That was like the sign, like a Caribbean island.
You can't miss it.
Yeah, and it was like red and yellow striped. It was. I was like, oh, Chicken Island. All right, I get it. That makes sense.
I think I'm here.
Yeah. So we're waiting, and these, but like a white van comes, and then like a blue van comes, and then a red van comes, and by the time I get to people are fighting to get in these vans. They're taking people to spots throughout Yonkers to stay for the night, like in church basements and shit like that or whatever. And I don't get in. And it's just me and this other guy who's whacked on K2, right? And I'm like, what the fuck do I do now? This guy he's not even speaking English right now. He can speak English. I would imagine it was his first language, but he's so fucked up.
He's gone.
He's gone. He's gone. His pants are around his knees. But he starts walking, which seems it was in the direction that we came from, so I start following him. And I'm like full on dope sick now.
Yeah.
And it starts to pour. Like the skies just open up. And it starts to rain on me. And I just grab a piece of cardboard from outside of a store and I put it on my head. And we get back. He was going back to the sharing community. She just let him walk right by. She's like, what happened? What happened, baby? I'm like, I couldn't get in the van. It was full. And she's like, all right. She's like, you could stay here for the night. She gave me a blanket and a pillow. I slept on the floor. I didn't really sleep. I was doing sheet karate.
Right.
That's when I would fall asleep for 10 minutes, have a dream that I was buying heroin, and wake up and be like, oh.
Dang.
Yeah, so the next morning I get, I'm up, everyone's moving around, the bus comes, I go to St. John's Behavioral, and I get a bed. And I remember my nurse was this Jamaican lady. So they put me on 5 milligrams of methadone for 5 days to wean me off, to help me overcome the sickness. And it was 15 the first day, 10 the second, and then 3 days of 5.
What was the worst day?
I mean, with the methadone, it was all right. It was bearable with the methadone.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, on day 3, she was like, "What's your dose?" And I was like 15, and then she looked. She goes, "Boy, your dose is 5. Don't you? The devil is a liar. You need to straighten out your life." Yes. And then from there, I went back to the intake in Queens, and then they sent me to a program in Manhattan. Now, and this program was fire. Not because the food was good or nothing like that. I remember I get there, they like check me in and all that shit, and they're like, all right, what's your name? And I'm like, my name is Derek. I'm very happy to be here and try to fix my life. And one of the counselors just goes, "Shut up."
Oh,
Counselor.
He goes, "Shut up."
yeah,
And I was like, "What?" He's like, "You heard me, man. You don't know shit."
yeah.
He's like, "You don't know shit." He goes, "Nobody wants you. That's why you're here."
Oh, that's lit.
He goes, "Let me tell you something. You fuck around once." He's like, "You're out of here."
Yeah.
We'll get you. Because I had cases at the time too. He's like, "We'll send your ass right back to jail. Shut the fuck up. Nobody, you don't know nothing."
Right.
And they grouped me so hard there for about 18 months that it just changed my way of thinking.
Dang.
You said they grouped you?
Yeah, like I was doing 4 or 5 groups a day.
Yeah, yeah.
And these ain't no, "Oh, this is how I'm feeling today." This is you saying how you're feeling, and someone
getting
going,
jumped.
and someone being like, "He's lying.
Right,
This motherfucker's a
right.
liar.
Jumped,
He's
yeah.
full of shit." He has not at one time been honest since he came here.
Yeah.
Yeah, people would say all kinds of that shit to you, and what they would call it, they had this thing for it. They'd be like, "Don't react to it. Hold your tummy."
Yeah.
Because basically what's happened is, if you can make it through that, and I
Yeah.
believe this is a thought process of it, and they never really tell you, but you figure it out,
Yeah.
is that you can deal with life on life's terms. Because something's always going to happen that you didn't plan for. You don't plan on going into like a rehab or what you think, but this was called a TC. It was a therapeutic community of someone straight up being like, "You're full of shit. You're full of shit. You're not really talking about what's going on.
Yeah.
You need to think about why your mom and dad don't want to talk to you, why you can't see your kid," really fucking gut-wrenching shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think those places don't exist anymore. I think they got rid of them. I think they have done away
Is it
with
government funding
that
or-
type of treatment. Probably funding. I think in New York, you can't stay at treatment for that long anymore. I think the longest they give you is 6 months, but that shit changed my life
Right.
For the better.
for the better.
Yeah.
For the better.
Yeah.
Damn.
Dang.
As soon as you got in there.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I know you were like, "Dad?"
I'm like, "Yo." I'm like, "Listen, man, I'm so I don't want to do heroin anymore, commit crimes. I'm really happy to be here with you and this new chapter in my life." Shut the fuck
Yeah.
up.
Get the
You
fuck
just
out.
bad.
Right. Yeah.
You're just a bad kid.
And they would have these things called a confrontation group,
Yeah.
right? So this could be anything, right? Because now you're in the house. Now you got structure for real,
Yeah.
right? Everybody has a job at some point, and this place needs to be kept very clean.
Yeah.
Like they're changing your whole way of life, what you've been used to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a complete flip. And like, you could just be like, we had a rule, you were not allowed to have any beverages in this one hallway, right? So maybe somebody sees you cut through there with a coffee in your hand or something real quick, they would write it, "I'm bringing Derek Drescher to confrontation group because he was drinking coffee in the hallway when he's not supposed to." Drop that, and then they would just go in on you on way more
Yeah.
than the
Yeah.
coffee, man.
Right.
Yeah, I remember we were arguing with you. Like so if you don't drop so you get brought to group on that. If you don't drop a slip on that person for whatever something they
They'll
did,
drop a
sometimes
slip
people
on
will
you.
be mad at each other. They would drop slips at each other.
Yeah.
If you don't have a slip dropped, you can't say shit.
Damn. So you
Yeah.
just gotta sit there quiet and let them go in on you. I be dropping slips on
Yo, I be
everybody
slipping on
just in
niggas
case.
all day. Just
Yeah.
like
just in case.
this
I
will be a
dropping
stretch. It'll be a
slips.
stretch of a slip, but I'll
Yeah.
just be in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you feel like that was helpful though? Do you feel like that? Like do you think that's a healthy way of conducting society in a way that like because it's great to be accountable, but like, do you feel like it then helped reshape how you thought about yourself for the better, or do you feel like it could have also had an inverse effect and made you be more critical of yourself? Which would have led to more, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to stay clean, you would stay there.
Okay.
It wasn't to the point where, it's not like they were lying to me when they were telling me.
Okay, got it. It wasn't like a fabricate, or it wasn't just like them dealing with their own thing, so they're putting it on you.
Yeah.
And it was counselor led, right? They weren't just letting you guys like.
It was counselor led, but also the community, you had to call them family.
They set the tone.
Yeah. They would critique you regularly.
Damn, that's special.
Yeah.
Outside of the groups, what were you doing with your free time?
Well, the first 6 months you're there, you ain't doing shit but grouping. Yeah, they don't even really like you might get a 4-hour pass or something like that. And this is the thing, you see a lot of dudes don't come back from them 4-hour passes. And I'm not just talking about like, oh, they went out and used, like they died on those 4-hour passes. They went and got high. So that happens a lot with heroin, is people think they could use the same way they were before they got clean. That's not the case, but it's like, I'm not saying that like it's the only way that works to stay clean, but it worked for me. Yeah, that's what I needed. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was like a pull yourself up by your bootstrap, kind of flow.
As a counselor, you ever tap into that when you have guys coming in for advice, and you're like, man,
shut up.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
As soon as they walk in, you're like, yo, you just bad.
Right. Like I've had guys come to me, they're like, oh, I'm fighting with my girl. I'm like, yo, man, you got a year clean. Why you got a girl?
Yeah.
Oh, that's real.
Yeah, why you got a girl? Yo, I love her. Man, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't even love yourself yet.
Right. That's
how
real.
can you love somebody when you don't know how to love yourself yet?
Yeah.
And this is a thing that I still am going through.
Okay.
You know what I mean? 8 years clean. You know what I mean? 8 years of doing work, keeping my head above water.
Yeah.
Because you do. I haven't relapsed on drugs, but you have emotional relapses.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's real.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I don't go as hard as they went with me.
Yeah.
But I definitely am super honest with them. I mean, do I know everybody's experience? No, everybody's pain is their pain, but I can empathize and identify with most of the things they're going through.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So as a comic, how much of that do you tap into? And
right.
Are you ever surprised by how relatable your experiences are to the mass pop? Because like, I know for me, when I write comedy, sometimes I think nobody's going to identify with this. Like this is too specific to my experience. I don't
original,
think, I don't think the average audience member is going to get this. But then I'm always pleasantly surprised when like, yeah, my mom does that shit too, and yeah, my ex-girlfriend was a whore. And it's
Right. I mean, for me,
everyone loves that one.
by the way, my ex-girlfriend, she was a sweet girl for the. All right.
The stronger I get as a comic, the easier it is for me to make audiences like me quicker.
Yeah,
then I can really dig into that stuff.
Right.
But that's a tool thing. You're talking about coming from a space where you have the tools to communicate effectively. But just on the material itself, like
it could be a lot for people.
Yeah, just introducing those ideas to audiences oftentimes can be a challenge in and of itself. Of
100%.
course, as a skilled comic, you're better equipped to like navigate that space. But I remember the first time I tried to talk about challenging ideas on stages, and people just looking at me like, ugh.
Yeah. They're engaged.
Yeah,
they're listening like
you have my attention. I'm not going to laugh, but please go on.
Yeah. I mean, I've hit points before. I'm like, I'm done talking about jail. I'm done talking about drugs.
Right.
And then some older comics will be like, because I'm a 41-year-old man. I've only been doing comedy for about 5 years. Yeah. So I'm young in comedy.
Right.
Old in life. I've been around. I've experienced quite a bit of things. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they're like, you aren't going to be done with that shit until you're done with it. Like, just keep writing about it until you got to perfect it. Some nights, some days I don't want to. Some days it's like I am just a man. I'm just Derek Drescher. Yeah, like I was on drugs. But like a man in recovery is not who I am completely. Like I've ran marathons. I'm not just a runner. I was in the military. I'm not just, this guy that was in the army. Like I don't just tell jokes. I'm more than these things. I'm these are just parts of who I am
Yeah.
as a whole, and I'm still trying to discover who I am completely.
That's good.
Like I know where I stand on most issues and where I stand in life and what I would like to be remembered as, and that would be as a guy that went through some shit, made a lot of bad decisions, but was able to pull himself out and was pretty much a stand-up guy. You know what I mean? But there's still things I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
I love seeing comics who get into comedy later in life.
Same.
Just because, like, when you see a really young person get on stage, you see them figuring it out on stage. You see them learning about themselves through comedy, through their creativity. But when you see a person who does stand up for the first time,
Bro,
with so much life experience behind them, it's like, it's very little of that song and dance. It's like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Get on board. I'm not going to pander in any way.
Yeah.
I'm just going to talk about my experience in my life. And I feel like that makes for a much more digestible experience for me as a viewer.
200%. I feel like I'm just like at a lunch table with them.
Yeah.
And they're just like, it's that sitting at the lunch table, dying laughing of like.
I've seen people get on stage like, yeah, man, how y'all feel about Bush? Isn't he the worst? And like, nah, we like him. Like, I like him too. And it's like, you're not. You'll say anything for approval. But when people are like in their 30s and 40s, it's like, they'll go to Bush's house and like do crowd work on Bush. You know what I mean? So it's just like a different energy when you have that confidence from lived life experiences.
Right.
And that's always for me like such an enriching experience watching somebody speak on something that they have that they're solid on. Yeah. They're completely solid on.
Like being a recovering heroin addict, like when the vaccine came out and people were like, oh, there's something dangerous in that needle. I was like, oh, word?
You like, define dangerous.
I'm like, I'm like, give it to me.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I'll do 4 of those.
Like, yo, it's going to knock you out for the whole day. I'm like, guys, this is what we need. Right. All go together. You know what I mean?
Yo, that's amazing, bro. I'm
happy I can do, because I've done a lot of bad things in my life, and I've held myself accountable for all of it, and I've made peace with myself at it. It's like nothing I could do to change what I did, but I can definitely not be that person anymore. And that's just the goal every day is like, don't do no drugs, because that's got to be first, because once I do that, everything will unravel much quicker. Don't have malicious intent to hurt anybody.
Right.
Physically assault anybody. Don't put hands and feet on anybody. Like those are like the top 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just, but it's like being in comedy, there's a lot of young people around.
100.
And I understand, like, when we're all together, like, we joke and talk. So you guys are both older, so you just carry yourselves different. You know what I mean? These young kids are just always on. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna strangle you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I get it. They're just trying to be funny all the time. I don't know why I started talking about this, but it's just like they just say the wildest. They'll be like, were you gay for the stay? I'm like, motherfucker, I will break your face right now. Don't you ever don't. I was like, as a matter of fact, you're not allowed to look at me anymore when I walk into a room. You look at the floor. But these are challenges that I have with myself. It's like, I'm not this tough guy. I was never really as tough as I thought I was. I was actually super sensitive. That's why I was like, no, fuck that. Ain't nobody gonna invite me to their genitals. This is a big thing. You never said suck my dick to. If you said suck my dick to somebody, it meant that you were ready. Right. He was ready to throw. He was ready to get down.
It's a wrap. Yeah.
Certain places I've been, you could possibly lose your life for saying that to somebody. And when I walk into a room and I hear that shit being thrown around so loosely, I almost short circuit. You know what I mean? But I gotta realize it's a different time and all that stuff. And it's like setting boundaries is one thing, but everybody's just trying to have fun. And this is just the position I'm in. And I gotta be honest, I actually learn a lot from young people, because all this email shit and social media shit and all that, I wasn't around for it. I'm learning it as I go. First email I sent was like 6 years ago. I thought I was going to blow something up in another country when I hit send. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a different time. You know what I mean? So, and with you know, I overcame homophobia like with Lafayette from True Blood and Omar from The Wire. Those are my guys. They also were very tough and carried weapons and like robbed people. And Lafayette also sold drugs. So I'm like, these are my guys right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Omar.
Yeah. R.I.P. man.
Yo, even after I seen it, I was like, I still couldn't believe it. I'm like, Omar? Yeah. Omar, man. Damn, man.
but it's a new day and age, and I'm happy. Like, it's just I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot even doing comedy, just because there's just so many. You go on the lineup, there's just so many different kinds of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like I have a spot somewhere because there's contrast. You need contrast. If we all sounded the same, we all talked about the same shit, how much fun would it be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Comedy's dope because it gives you the opportunity to listen.
Yeah.
Like we all appreciate being heard, right? That's like why we really get into it, because we feel like we have a story to tell. But part of it, and I don't know if we all know that we're signing up for this part, but you also have to listen to these stories of people who are like, I would have never met a trans person.
Right.
Up until this point, had I not met trans people in comedy.
Right.
I would have never met certain people from all types, all walks of life. You know what I mean? I live in New York City. Before I moved back to New York City, I couldn't tell you what a Jewish person looked like. Like, I didn't know. That's such a cultural thing when people are like, oh, you know, I look Jewish. And I was like, as a black person who grew up around black people, it's like white people look like white people.
Or
Right,
white.
yeah.
Right?
If anything,
White, just white.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Jewish,
like,
cool. That's
Yeah.
a lot of black people are being
an ornament, it's
introduced.
not- yeah.
A lot of black people are being introduced to the idea of like Jewish negative stereotypes.
right. And anti-Semitism in the
Yeah.
way that it's just like, wait, isn't that just white?
I mean, there's so many
Yeah,
different
nah.
types of Jews.
Yeah.
You got Sephardic. They're more Mediterranean, I believe. North African, Mizrahi,
Orthodox.
You
got-
Ashkenazi. There's Ethiopian Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tel Aviv and Israel. It's very close to Ethiopia.
But we learn these lessons through comedy. I know I did. I personally learned a lot of those lessons through. The first time I saw a Hasidic Jew, he was a stand-up comic. And I was like,
oh, that's crazy.
yeah,
For real?
Yeah. I don't. He doesn't do stand-up comedy anymore, but he was hilarious.
Yeah, he was silly.
He was really, really funny. And then I started driving through Williamsburg. I'm like, oh, this is where.
This is the
Oh,
people.
this is. Oh, you live right over there. Oh,
Yeah.
that little.
I mean, I grew up. It was my household was culturally diverse because it was like Puerto Rican and Jewish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were, and I would say that those were the cultures I grew up in. Like, we ate Spanish food, we celebrated. We would do Hanukkah and shit like that. Also, it was like so it was good to come up like that.
Did you do Christmas too?
Yeah, they would do Three Kings Day.
Three Kings, yo.
Yeah.
Three Kings was the
You don't
vibe,
get no
man.
more Puerto Rican than that.
Yeah,
which I
that's
believe
real-
is January 6th.
Yeah, I was about to say it's
Which is-
coming up. I used to celebrate Three
Isn't
Kings.
that isn't that the fucking Insurrection Day too?
Oh, it is. Dang.
That's a fact.
Irony, yeah.
That's so wild. Three Kings Day. Yeah,
Oh, my
January
God.
6th, but
They're gonna go for a rebrand this year.
I'm happy. But I'm happy. I found comedy.
Yeah.
I'm not like a big dreamer. You know what I mean? I don't like people who have dreams. Is beautiful. I'm not. You know what I mean?
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
like
like-
what you got going on there. Yeah,
It was never like it's my dream to be clean off of drugs. Like, I just knew I had to do it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, I dream when I sleep.
Yeah.
I don't dream when I walk around. Like, everything I've done, I've worked very hard for. And everything I've done bad, I also worked very hard at that too. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So it's like I just try to put my best foot forward and handle as much as I can and help out whenever I can now. Like, the fact I have the jobs that I do, what I do for a living, like, it makes it easier for me to like live a decent life. I would be so upset, man, if I was like, you know, if I didn't get these certifications and I had to like deliver food, because I did that for a little bit too.
Yeah.
Which is no shame in any job whatsoever.
200.
But when you do that kind of shit, day in, day out, you'd be like, yo, fuck this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I have one question. Because I know we gotta wrap up.
Yeah.
Managing the emotions that come with comedy. How has that been for you, and how do you manage those without like thinking back about relapsing or anything like that? Because I know I have my dark days where I'm like, I need to escape, or I need to, do something, or just the throes of the day to day. How do you manage that? And does it ever make you think about drugs or anything else, or
I do not think about using much often anymore.
Yeah.
They say like in the program, like, and the obsession will be lifted, and it has. That's one of the things that came true. But I do think about behaviors.
Okay. Yeah.
110%. And a lot of times, you know, I will speak to people that I know care about me and love me, and I will say the things I'm thinking out loud. Because when you hear yourself say the stuff out loud, you're like, oh yeah, I'm wilding.
Right.
And I don't like this. Because when I was young, right, if you couldn't win an argument, or like while I was like, you know, living in those institutions, if you can't get your point across with your words,
Yeah.
you use your hands. You know what I mean? And sometimes it worked out for you, sometimes it didn't.
Yeah.
Somebody's pulling somebody off the other one. You know, that's usually how it goes. So, you know, if I say like, oh man, I really wanted to slap the shit out of this motherfucker today, you know what I mean? It's like, what would I look like at 41 years old?
Yeah.
After this life I've lived, all this hard work I've done, you know, I'm assisting people who've been through similar things as I have into like getting on with their lives and accomplishing their goals. What would I look like rolling around on the ground? Like, you know what I mean? What would I look like at a comedy show, like grabbing up some 25-year-old wise ass? I would look like a bozo. You know what I mean?
I think about that a lot.
Yeah.
I think about that a lot. Every time I have any type of adversity in comedy, I'm like, man, you a dad now. Yeah. He's half your size. It's like I just talk myself off that ledge. And it's so much easier now though with at my age now than when I was like 25 or 22. Because you don't think about the consequences like that when you're at that age.
Oh no, when you're that young, and also like you bounce back so quick. Like you know, you're like, oh, one of the worst things from being incarcerated, right? Yeah. You get out and someone will be like, oh, what did you learn? Like, oh, I know I can handle any bid now. And it's like, not what you want to hear.
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, I talk to people I trust. And Cab, you know as well as anybody that I have not been perfect.
Yeah. But also in a very justified way, in my opinion. But also,
justifiable,
but in a 100%.
How much time we got? Like 30 seconds on this?
Whatever you want to do.
All right. So I was involved in an altercation, a physical altercation that Cab was witness to, and the guy was threatening me for about a half hour.
And Cab was like, "Yo, you ain't gonna let him talk to you."
Cab was like, "Damn, man, from the streets, all that prison shit now, man."
Talk that shit now. We outside. What's with
yo? Show improve. What you got? No, Cab was actually trying to deter me.
It's a pandemic. Yeah.
Cab was actually trying to deter me because you know it was just a dude who was wilding out. I'm pretty sure he was on drugs. Pretty sure he was on drugs, but you know he was threatening to.
He was like spitting on us and shit.
Yeah.
And like
that's right. You were there. When
he was spitting on us and shit. He like,
and before you got there, it had been happening for about 20 minutes.
Exactly.
And he was threatening to spray me with some kind of mace or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So,
but it was like one of those things like, yo, chill out, stop, and then he kept doing it in this cycle while they're trying to like bark for a show.
Yeah, we're trying to move tickets to our show.
It's like 20 degrees. It was the heart of January. Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, standing there, and he's yelling, "Yeah, y'all all some pussies. Ain't nobody gonna buy tickets to your stupid ass show." Which I'm like, he's right about that. I don't think anybody's coming. It's so cold.
Yeah. Cold as shit. Yeah.
And I'm getting tight, and I could see that, you know, Cab and a few other people are like, "Why are you getting so mad? This is fucking normal."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Nah, he's talking to me," and they're like, set up, and then he goes, "Yeah, you in the yellow coat," and I was wearing yellow, so I was like, I finally snapped.
He was wearing orange, but no kidding.
I finally snapped and ran towards him. We got into this whole little brawl, and I paid for it. I paid for it because I hurt my foot really bad, and I was actually going to see my parents the next day. I ended up having like, you know, a mark on my face.
Yeah.
So now I'm 40.
Right.
Going to see my folks who have been through so much with me.
With a limp.
and basically a black eye.
Yeah.
And my father being like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, man?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Dad, it wasn't really my fault." He's like, I kind of believe you, given everything positive you've done these last 8 years. But he's like, You couldn't walk away? I'm like,
dang, that's sobering.
I'm like, nah. I couldn't. But I will next time. Like I don't want to be in any more physical altercations. Like there's no winner or loser in that shit. I should only defend myself if I feel threatened.
Yeah, your inner voice changes, man. Because when you get older, you tell yourself you can walk away.
Right.
But when you're younger, you're like, man, it's just a misdemeanor.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
like the way you negotiate with yourself when you're young is so dumb. It's like, all
I'm
right.
gonna be tired for a couple of days.
What will always stick out to me in my mind now is how for the next 2 weeks I was sore.
Yeah.
I was sore. Walking around with a limp, and it's just too old to be getting involved in shit like that. And I mean, I'm sure you guys had a fun time watching.
Right. No, I was just so surprised his tactic. This nigga did a flying kick. I swear to God. I was like, yo, this is how he gets down? Oh, if it was a one-on-one between me and him and I get a flying kick, I lost.
That was his opening move.
Yo, right.
Yeah.
So he tumbles over this guy.
You know in Street Fighter how like the more you fight, like your special bar builds?
Yeah.
He was listening to all that shit talk. His special bar was full. He was like, I'm going to just open up with my special.
It wasn't even a tackle. It was a straight. I was like, yo, he really got it like that.
When I got up in the air like that, while I was in the air, I was like, oh shit, Derek, you still got it. Like I had no idea that I could still do something like that. I was like, oh, but I'll tell you, I definitely like strained my hamstring.
Okay, I was gonna say
jumping up in the air like that. And it's not like you know, I'm a trainer, but I don't work out that much anymore. You know, I'm like, but the next few days it's like, I pulled this, my sciatica was hurting. You know, but yeah, I'm glad you guys got to see that kick. Hopefully it's a legendary kick.
No, it's just
on many podcasts for years.
The dude after that was still talking shit after it. I was just like, it was two mutants fighting each other. Like it was two X-Men. Like it was unreal.
Yeah.
Dog.
So close it off. He dropped his phone during that scuffle.
Yeah.
And he ran into a building. And then he pokes his head out. He goes, guys, I seem to have dropped my phone.
I swear to God, he did. I swear to God, he did, dog.
Do you think I can have it back?
JC and Gio.
Respectfully, do you mind passing me?
We give him the phone back.
Yeah.
He's eating all these blows.
Somebody's like, here's your phone. And he gets the phone. He's like, thank you. By the way, y'all all pussy.
Yo, he won.
Yeah.
He won, man.
So he goes, give me the one-on-one. I'll fuck all you up. Yeah. So me, still heated, goes, you want to go one-on-one?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. So
goes back in for round two.
We go one-on-one. We go one-on-one. And I knew right then I wasn't the same.
Yeah.
And it's good to see it happen in real time. Because one of those right hands I hit him with landed right on the sweet spot.
Bro, but my boy.
And let me tell you something. If I was 25 years old, I would have spun his head halfway around. And he ate that shit.
Yo, for breakfast, bro. I was still just shocked. Like, how is he still walking, dog? Like.
And then just walking out of there with the limp, I'm like, yo, we gotta go.
Right,
we gotta go.
Because they broke this thing. They broke a plant outside the hotel. It was like,
he took a rain check on everybody else. He's like, I see y'all niggas on Tuesday, Thursday. I see you on Friday, nigga.
Just so everybody knows that was one of my emotional relapses, and I spoke with my counselor numerous times about it. My therapist, I had to look myself in the face and walk around with a broken toe for 2 weeks. So never again. I will not fight unless I feel I am threatened. I would never run over to anybody halfway down the block and karate kick them in the face ever.
You would never Liu Kang a nigga.
Yeah.
Because the therapist it never makes sense to the therapist. You can't say, but he called me a pussy. Like, he's like, what are you talking about?
He came in my jacket.
Oh, he definitely struck out. He spit towards us.
Yeah.
I mean, God,
that's the lowest.
He got 7 comics.
No, that's the lowest. Like
he spit toward us, but he also had a bike,
people,
so he was spitting and biking away and shit.
Yeah, spitting on people for me is.
I love how for the first hour I'm like, yeah, you know, this is what I'm doing, and I group so hard. Yeah, I got in a fight a week ago. Yeah. It wasn't a week ago.
Best believe you can still get these hands.
I will still throw down
anybody can get it.
Right.
No, that was about a year ago.
Yeah. About a year. January. Cold. I remember it was cold a year ago. Yeah.
Derek, man, you took us on a journey.
Thank you, man.
I hope it was good.
This was really good. I want to hear more stories. If I'm being honest.
I have so many.
Dog, that was.
Yeah, I have so many.
Yeah, that was special.
I hope you guys like it. I hope your listeners enjoy it also.
No, absolutely, man. And I'm honestly, I'm like happy that you're in the space that you're in now. Like,
Yeah, to even share it. Like,
yeah,
you know.
because I know for me, man, there's some shit that happened when I was 13. I can't talk about. I get mad thinking about it. I'm like, man, I can't believe.
Yeah.
I fell down those steps in church.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're like getting out of rehab. I'm like,
Right.
man. But no, seriously, so much respect, man. That was. I'm sure people are going to be inspired by that. I'm inspired by just hearing that story. And thank you so much for doing the pod, man. We'd love to have you back on, talk some more.
Yeah, bro.
And also, man, get your commentary on some other stuff that's happening in pop culture. Man.
Yeah,
It'd be really good to have
definitely.
you.
Oh yeah, I have opinions. Just know if you are suffering with addiction or anybody you know is suffering with addiction, like we all deserve a better life. For a long time, I didn't think I did, but I have a way better life now than what I was, and you do deserve it. Just know that, and you'll find your people. You'll find the good people that you need in your life.
And what's your social media?
Yeah,
social media is Derek Drescher, at Derek Drescher, and then also if you can.
How you spell Drescher? Come on, man.
My first name is Derek, D-E-R-E-K, last name Drescher, D-R-E-S-C-H-E-R. Just think of the nanny, Fran Drescher. Put a Derek in front of it, and then follow On the Gate podcast, and like and subscribe, all that shit. 2 ex-cons turned clowns, turned jokesters. It's me and my buddy Gio Perez, and then I also run a show with Gio and Sam Santos called 23-in-1 Comedy.
Yeah, great show.
Out of the Stand. Yes,
amazing show.
It's one of the things I'm the most proud of, because we go in. It's 23-in-1 Comedy. It's me and Gio, 2 ex-cons, and we got the street therapist Sam. So
yeah. That's right. She has a street therapist.
Good ass time.
Awesome, man. Yeah, guys, hit him up, send him a message, call him a pussy.
Just write spit in your resume.
The spit emoji. You guys got the droplets.
I'll spit on you right now. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys.
Nah,
so
man.
much
One of my
for
brothers in
tuning in.
comedy, dog. Thanks for being here, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Yeah. Later.
I hope it was good.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for keeping you so long.
Yeah. That was.
I know you had a place to